Hello, friends. Steve here. Um, I had at one point determined that I wasn't going to make any more videos when I was triggered. Because when we're triggered, we go into a defensive posture. And we oftentimes have stories. And the stories frequently have a lot of emotions attached to them. And we might find ourselves saying things that we're sorry that we said later, even if they were true, or whatever. I mean, true. What is true? But today, I've felt like I've been really working with a lot of energy. And so if you have been feeling like you've been working with a lot of energy as well, then we can have the What a Bunch of Energy Club, you know? We can be the energy skateers or something. We can wear little hats and we can say, yeah, we're uh, we're PTSD recovering energy aware people, and we could have little horns or something. We could form an like an Elks Club. Oh no, I think there already is an Elk Club. The Moose Club. Oh, there is a Moose Club. Eagle Club. No, I think there's an Eagle Club. Yeah, there's already a lot of them taken. We could be the Tree Club, I bet you. Oh, Sierra Club. It's probably the Tree Club. Okay, so to make a video that may be of use to you, um, I'm going to. I think it's fine to tell a story. I think stories are good. They can be metaphors or metaphors sometimes if they're really good stories. But I think sometimes we can give a little bit of history leading up to something. So some of you, who have been aware of some of the things I've written or said, know that I've been working with this Eustachian tube dysfunction. Whatever, it's clogged up. I can't hear sometimes out of my left ear. It'll clear up and then it'll show back up again. And I think it was yesterday that it cleared, and I had a really what I call a good day, because any time that your ear isn't bothering you, um, if as long as there aren't a whole bunch of other things bothering you, it could be considered to be a good day. And so I consider yesterday to be a good day because there weren't a lot of things bothering me. Not that every day there are a lot of things bothering me. It's not the kind of life I have where I just spend my day being bothered by things. It's just been the past 3 weeks. Or wait, I'll go a little further. Maybe the past year. Detoxing is a bother for some people. I'm one of those. I'm not bothered by the process of detoxing. I find the process can be sometimes bothersome. There are certain aspects of detoxing the body where you're just exhausted. And you may be exhausted and go, well, I'm exhausted. I'm not detoxing. And I could say, well, okay. But I think if we are exhausted, we probably are detoxing. And people say, well, what do I have to detox? I go, do you breathe air? Do you eat food? Yeah. Is it all organic? Or you just can't afford organic, so you're just going to eat that genetically modified organism. Who knows what it's going to do once it comes inside the body? And I don't want to bring more. I apologize. I may still publish this, but I apologize if I bring more fear into your consciousness through my videos. It's not my intention. My intention is to help our nerve systems calm down. There are some useful aspects to being triggered. like if your awareness all of a sudden turns and you're aware of a bus coming and you're aware of a small child in the way of the bus, and you go into super alert, reach out, grab the child, pick the child up, dive off to the curb, protect the child as you're diving onto the curb away from the bus, protect the child, and the bus goes by and we don't have a dead child. And you're like, whew, I'm really glad I did that. I'm really glad I was in fight or flight. If you release all those energies and all those emotions off of that memory, then it ends up being an experience. It can end up being a story without emotion. It's just an experience. I have a story like that, where she wasn't very old when we moved into the house. I'm going to say my daughter was maybe 3, and I was coming down the stairs from the upstairs. We had a 2-story house, and I was coming down the stairs with her in my arms, and my foot went out from under me. I slipped, and she went up in the air, and I thought, no, that's not going to work. So I reached back up and caught her coming back down again as I slid on my back down a flight of wooden stairs. It was fairly painful. I was fairly nervous that something might break along the way. My head had clumped any number of times as I went down those stairs. And it wasn't a very big landing. We hit the landing. I slid into the wall on the other side. And I realized that we were both alive, and I was very grateful for that. And my daughter looked up at me and she said, "That was great. Could we do that again?" A different experience, a different perception from a similar experience. We both fell down the stairs. Or maybe I fell down the stairs and took her with me. When I fell, my body reaction was up. You know, maybe the arms were going to go down and try to protect my fall. But I was in that fight or flight super awareness, and I thought, nope, you got to catch the kid. So up my hands went again, caught the kid, brought her down, held her close, and just thumped down those stairs. Now that's the insanity of parenthood. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Because if you've had 30 years and your child's had 3, who deserves the life more? I can't answer that question, but I think it's a good one. And I got my occiput adjusted today. I went to the chiropractor today, once again, because I've been dealing with this ear clogging up. And it's been uncomfortable. I've been learning lots of things about Eustachian tubes and lots of things about sinus drainage and mucus and all those things, all those good things. But as after I'd gotten home from the experience with the chiropractor, which was super positive, on 99% level. And the only thing that wasn't positive was the information, one little piece of information that was given to me. about something going on in the world that I could tell that I was triggered. And so here I had gotten all these really lovely, wonderful things done to me that opened a lot of things up, one being the release of the tension in my occiput, which is really a fight or flight bone. I mean, this whole area, jaw and occiput, atlas vertebra, they're all related to fight or flight. And then that bit of information came in, and I felt that reaction. And I went, okay. And then I came home, and I was given a bit more information from the world. And all of a sudden, the ear just closed up. And I thought, when I was 12, I've talked about this, but I think I'm getting ready to really let it out. When I was 12, another larger boy, but another 12-year-old boy, came in with his fist and slammed me in my left ear. And it left me completely disoriented. It almost knocked me out. Because of the force on the ear, it creates a compressive force, and it could damage your eardrum. It was that force, and it was like this flat-handed force just going right into that left ear. Boy, I dizzy, and I went and sat down, and then I did my best to process that information, but it was definitely a shock. And I think this is the third or fourth time I've talked about it on video in the last 7 months I've been doing these. I've probably mentioned this 3 or 4 times. And I will say this, no matter how long, if I just spend this entire life releasing these traumas that sometimes are from childhood, sometimes they're intrauterine, intra-womb experiences that are traumatic, it will be a life well spent, because everything that I've learned, I've shared with others. Everything I've done for myself that I found effective, that worked for me, I've shared with others. I will continue to do that, and I really appreciate Thomas Hubel for many reasons, one of which is he's written a book about this process of healing trauma that has explained so many things that I've come to know for myself, but didn't have the words for. Couldn't just put them in such an organized fashion and deliver them. So if you haven't bought the book yet, I would highly recommend it. If you are interested in, and you might ask the question, here's this dude sitting in front of you, that would be me, 73 years of age, has been really literally working on this healing process for 52 focused years, and maybe 55. Whatever. 4 is a lot longer than I've been alive. 5/7 of my life has been spent resolving traumas from childhood, from other lifetimes, from teenagers, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60s, whatever. And everything I've learned, I've shared with others and helped them to heal. And it may be that you will be able to do this a lot quicker than I have. This may just be my life journey, and so it may be that there's no end in sight, that my life journey is just to understand how to come out of the traumas of this world as best as possible, and how to help others to do that as well. Today I got triggered twice from words. And the second time I was triggered, I felt the energy coming before the words were spoken. I just felt this thing coming at me, and then the words were spoken, and then I felt the triggering. But what was different, based on much of what I've learned through reading Thomas Hübel's book called Attuned, was that we can take that moment with enough practice. We can take that moment and not get lost in the trauma triggering. We can recognize that that's what's happening, and we can create a new habit, which we could call the mature adult habit, which I've never developed, but it's about time, I guess. 73, I could become a mature adult. Just don't know. I don't know about being a grown-up, but a mature adult sounds functional. I like function, so Capricorn. So I might become a mature adult. But to be able to actually stop mid-stride in a trigger response and just stop it, and go into that place of calm and peace, observing the neurological electrification of my entire system. Like, whoa, that intensity is going on, and meanwhile I'm sitting in here going like, oh, that intensity is going on. It took practice. I mean, really, literally, I started at 1973. That's 54 years of practice. And there's some things I'm just getting. Don't be concerned that it's going to take you 54 years before you get good at it. There are masters. There are books. The book Attuned will take you through this process. One of my friends who was one of my students when I was teaching chiropractic and teaching chiropractic healing work, and it was energy-based, and I was good at teaching, and I had a huge number of students that were studying with me. One of them is this dear person, just dear person. And we've been just mildly out of touch for a number of years. She went on with the process. I exited the teaching process and let them carry on. But in our coming back together again, we are kind of teaming up in a way for each other, because we have so many skills, and we just share them out with others. But it's time, and this is just, I'm just nurturing this thought, it's time to really find those healers that want to be healed. And through that process of learning, and I'll just tell you, the textbook is Attuned by Thomas Hübel, and I've helped to write some of the textbooks. I've helped to create the thought besides some of the processes that are out there in the world being done by many people. I've helped to create that. And there's never been anything in all my years of study that has been so simple, profound, and clear as this book Attuned by Thomas Hübel. So if you don't get it, I'm fine with that. I won't even know if you don't get it. But my friend, my teaching associate, she got it and then knew right away this was it for her. And so she's now taking an online course with Thomas Hubel and Terry, I think Terry Real. I think it's Terry Real. I think it's a great name. It's a real name. Okay, so this has gone on longer than I was expecting to make it, but I find like it's useful on my end, and it might be useful on your end as well, to just connect with your deep self, open yourself to your higher self, connect with that deep piece of the deep self, because that's going to help you if you practice connecting with that deep self on a daily basis. If you're just connected with your deep self and you're aware of it, you don't need to say out loud, I connect with my deep self. I find I still need to do that. It's okay. It's okay. The slow learners are the great teachers because they're very thorough about their learning. And some people go 1, 2, 10. They get the first part, the second part, then they understand the whole thing. I'm not that person. I go 1, 2, 2.5, 2 3/4, 3. I'm a very bright person. My brain works so much better than it did in the past when I was in a continual state of fight or flight. The brain doesn't work very well in a continual state of fight or flight, and that explains why people have done a lot of the things that they've done over the past few years that would never have done had they not been in fight or flight and not been like seeking answers for their fear, but their fear was created. It wasn't created by the world. It wasn't created by microscopic agents. It was created by minds. Fear created by minds. So I want to say that I did get my Mayan calendar. Very excited. And it was interesting to me today that this year started on July 26th. This year is the year of the blue storm. I think the blue rhythmic storm. And so that was the first day, July 26th. And then 21 days later, because there's 20 kin, so 21 days later, it's Blue Storm Day again, which is today. And it's a blue cosmic storm. And the blue storm is about learning to match the inner and the outer from a place of coherence. So if you're disturbed, you are broadcasting that out into the world. You can feel it because I'm just doing that energy of that disturbance. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You know, I'm broadcasting that. If you're getting more conscious, you recognize you're doing that and you stop. Just stop doing it. Because if you want a world that's not full of fear, then it would be a good idea for you to stop broadcasting fear to others so they can be more fearful. Maybe this is the way to actually clear the fear. They may take you to overwhelm and be so afraid that you finally just let go of the fear. That's one of the NLP processes. It's called overwhelm. Bend the metal until it breaks. That's one way to clear things. Another one is just to create new habits. So when you notice someone is broadcasting fear, you've got lots of options. If you have fear inside you that responds to that, then you say, okay, thanks. I feel like that's enough fear for me for the moment. I'm going to go digest it, integrate it, and release it, and come back maybe for more later. Who knows? So, coherent energy. My energy is coherent. A number of people have said that are very new to my channel, and they've watched my video, and their words are such as, I feel totally aligned with what you're saying. Now, the only way that they would feel totally aligned with what I'm saying is they feel totally aligned with the energetics behind what I'm saying. So, you're hearing words, but the words clothe energetics. So you may be aligned with my fear when I'm, in that fear energy, or you may be aligned with that deep peace when I'm in that deep peace energy, or you may just be aligned with the energy of truth. I'm speaking, and I'm speaking to you, and you're hearing truth for yourself. It's your truth being expressed through me. There's that coherence, that alignment. What we all, I'd like to say ought to do, but I don't want to should on you. So I don't want to be should on, and I don't want to should on you. What could be very useful for us to do is begin spending more and more time with people when we're with them that help us to feel more coherent. Because when we spend time with people, when you spend time with me, you relate to me through you. So you not really take me in, but you take me in and process me in your nerve system and then reflect that back. So there's this dance between us. And when you take the energies from my words, you kind of take them in. You're not taking me in, but you're taking those frequencies in, and you're going like, oh, I align with that. Or, oh, I don't feel anything related to it. Whatever you feel. You're perceiving me through your nerve system, through your senses, your eyes, your ears, tonal qualities, feelings, whatever. You are feeling me feeling you, I'm feeling you feeling me. Because on accepting this reality where we've perceived ourselves separate from each other, then we say, oh, that person's that, oh, I've never been, and we hold that person. But on another reality, the reality of the one consciousness, includes everything, includes polarities, good and evil, one consciousness, perception. In that one consciousness, we're one. And it may be useful for us to just love the one. So you represent the one for me. I can represent the one for you. And when we can just love each other and not just say those words, but feel those feelings as we're saying the words, if we can, just love each other. And a little thing came up saying I could use my phone as a webcam. Came up on the screen. If we could just love each other, then all these things will work out. Just loving each other, just loving the world. Just having that be the frequency that we're putting out in the world is I'm just loving the world. So the last thing I'll mention before this 40-minute video gets completed, sure it's at least that long. The last thing I'll talk about was the tarot card that I pulled for the world today. And what was interesting was I pulled a tarot card for myself a couple days ago. It was the same card. And it was the Ten of Swords. And the swords are related to the mental realm, to our thinking, our thoughts. And the Ten of Swords had to do with the fear of ruin, R-U-I-N. I also pull runes sometimes, so it's not the fear of runes, but it's the fear of ruin. And the fear of ruin in the area of relationships and finances. If we don't heal ourselves from the traumas of this lifetime and other lifetimes and ancestry and all that, if we don't heal ourselves from that, we may not be able to be in that state of love, which is really going to heal the world. So, according to that tarot book that I use, Angelus RN, and I've shortened it down. So it used to be back in the 80s, they would say, well, the next 10 weeks or the next 10 months. And I've decided, well, it's 40 years later, so let's just go within the next 10 minutes or the next 10 days. Let's let go of however amount of fear we can just release, not at people, but grounding it into the earth, because fear is just fear because of its vibration. But when we ground it into the healing center of the earth, it just is energy that then just enlivens the earth, not with fear, which is energy. So we're letting this old out. We're grounding it so we can be present in the now. And Nowmustgo, really, it was a long one, and it was really good for me, and hopefully it'll be of value for you. Someone I love, someone who's part of my oneness, someone who's on the planet, and then also the AI bots. I love you too. All right, Nowmustgo.